Hi, okay, this is Judge's information for doing prose. Um, Prose, make sure you check in first of all at the judges table and get your um, judging sheets, and you'll have them for round one and round two. If you're doing finals, you'll just get your room number from the judging table, and you'll get your sheets from the performers when they come in. So when you get to your room, make sure the room is set. They should have, they don't need much of a space, a 3 by 3 foot space, but there shouldn't be anything in the way. They're going to move their arms around a lot and stuff, nothing that they can smack. And you should be right in front of them. Oh, just a comfortable amount of space, 4 feet, something like that. But a lot of times that would be, I'll sit at the teacher's desk, and then the person performing will be kind of in the center of the room in a small circle there. In prose, they cannot move around with their feet. They should be moving around a lot with their arms, with their head. They can change postures, but they should not be walking in any way. If they lift up their foot, I don't see any problem with that. We've had judges knock people down for stomping their foot at a certain point, but I think that's okay as long as they don't move directionally anywhere. Okay, so they should have a book. It's usually a black binder, and that's what it should be. This is supposed to be a reading, so it can be memorized, but it should still feel like they're reading it and that they look down enough. They turn the pages as they go through, so they know, so you know that this is a reading. Okay. So if they just stand there and give it all memorized, you would knock down for that because it's supposed to look like a reading. Now, the good ones, they do have them memorized, but they still glance down appropriately and give the right amount of time to look down. So make sure they're doing that. They should have an introduction. The introduction, they should close their book. They should change their persona, their voice. It should sound different than the reading part. And they should give you some additional information like the name of the piece and who wrote the piece and a little bit about what's going on, some things that add to it. The things that help it go, why do I even care about this piece? What is it telling me? So that should happen in the introduction. And then what you're watching for as you judge, you're watching that you can understand it. They're not going too fast, that their diction is good, their words are clear so that you can understand what's going on. You should look for, do they understand their piece? Are they presenting in a way that also obviously shows that they know what the point of their piece is, what the era of their pieces, what the scene is of their piece. Um, and you're kind of looking for like degree of difficulty. If you just have someone up there do a reading and there aren't any characters in it, there aren't any different voices or whatever, you're going to see some that have a lot of different voices. They're playing different. They're like when you read a children's story and there's a monster voice and then there's a daddy voice and then there's a mommy voice, it's that kind of thing. They're going to do that, but they're not all children's stories, but most of them aren't, in fact, but they could be. But they should have different voices. They should be portraying different characters, and they should portray those with how their voice sounds, with maybe how their posture changes. If it's a kid, maybe they look up. If it's a little old man, maybe they get a little crunchy while they talk, things like that. So they're portraying it with their body and with their voices, and it's very obvious to you that you know when they're this character and when they're a different character. So you should be able to follow it really well. Um, the piece should have a nice flow to it. There shouldn't be undue halts and weird pauses where it doesn't make sense that there is a pause. There can be pause for dramatic effect, definitely, but not in weird places. So hopefully that kind of helps. What should you do while you're judging? If you've watched one of these, I've said this many times, but it doesn't matter as long as you do it the same. So if you're going to write the whole time, then write the whole time. But again, I would recommend you look up and you see what they're doing because it's not just their voice, it's what they're doing with their bodies. But you can make little notes. If you're going to smile, smile, but smile for everybody. If you're going to sit there stone faced and be stone faced, but do that for everybody. Whatever you do, just be consistent. Don't give anybody a undue advantage because you react differently to different ones. So if you're going to react and laugh when it's appropriate and cry when it's appropriate and do that, just do it for everybody. Okay, when you score, you're going to score your best one is number one in the ranking. Your worst is the lowest number in the room. So if there were 5 people is all you had, you're going to rank 1 for the best one and 5 for the worst. Nobody can have the same ranking. It is not allowed. Do not tie anybody in ranking. Okay. Then in quality points, they may have the same quality points, but somebody who got a lower ranking cannot have higher quality points than somebody who got a higher ranking. So again, let's say first and second were both amazing. They can both have 25s. then your third place wasn't quite as good. Maybe they have a 24, or maybe they weren't even close to that good. Maybe you knock them down to a 23. And then your fourth place is a 22. And then your fifth place is a 21 or something like that. Never give less than a 15, please, just because for the courage to stand up there and do it. I think they deserve that at least. So don't give less than a 15 on scores. Make sure you sign it. Make sure you have them all and you take them to the judges table when you're completely finished. And then they will tell you your next room, and they will also check off. Make sure you talk to them. Don't just leave it there. So they make sure that your rankings were all done correctly, your qualifying points were all done, quality points were all done correctly, and that they're all signed. So if we needed you for something, we could come look you up, like we can't read your handwriting, or something like that. So that's basically how you do it. I hope you enjoy doing prose, and thank you for volunteering.